What's up, everybody? Hugo Infinity back at it again with the Book of Views. Welcome back to Hugo's Book Club. Now, this week we're going to be doing The Beautiful and the Damned by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Same author as the author of The Great Gatsby. If you weren't forced to read that book in school, I'm pretty sure you saw the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. Great movie, great book, greater author, and this is actually his book before The Great Gatsby. Not chronologically, the books are separate books, but he wrote this before he wrote The Great Gatsby, so he was still finding his voice. He was a younger author when he wrote this. He was at a different place in his life, and I feel like that's reflected in the book. The Great Gatsby is all about extravagance. It's all about success, and it's fantasizing about finding your soulmate all over again. And this one I feel like is very realistic, The Beautiful and the Damned, because it follows Anthony Patch and Gloria, who he meets when he's a very young adult, and basically just goes and shows you in depth of how they grow as people and how they grow as a couple and as a relationship, because it's set in this jazz age, set in New York. They're exposed to all this extravagance, all these parties. And Gloria is a very beautiful woman. Her main attribute is her beauty. She's very attractive, draws attention everywhere she goes. Anthony's more pessimistic. He's kind of alcoholic. He tends to be more to himself. He's always kind of looking on the negative side of life. So they're kind of opposite, but they're very alike in many ways. And basically the story is about Anthony and his day-to-day life, him and Gloria. And he's waiting for his grandfather to pass away so he can get his grandfather's fortune. So while he's waiting, obviously he still has to make a living for himself. So it shows you, their life and how they move from place to place. At times they're doing very well. They have an amazing apartment or amazing house. They're throwing all these parties. Their friends are coming over. They're just having the time of their lives. And in other scenes, they're in a raggedy apartment. They don't know if they're gonna have to, sell more bonds to pay the bills. They're kind of stuck where they're at. And I just feel like this story really shows what matters to us in life. It's not the superficial things that matter to us. It's not our beauty, because beauty doesn't last forever. It's not our wealth or our money, because money doesn't last forever. It's who we are as people and our personalities. And I feel like this book really brings that into question of who we are and how we act. Even though they're trying to romanticize the whole relationship between Gloria and Anthony, it shows you the very real side of it. When they're not doing so great, it shows you how their relationship disintegrates over time. And how they would start off looking at the world in awe and wonder, and everything's just so luxurious and just so much opportunity. But as they get older, Gloria, her beauty's fading. Anthony, he's worried about his money, his wealth is fading. And they're just stuck looking in the mirror like, who am I? And so as they, ponder with that and start to struggle with their own self-identity, you can see that reflect in their relationship. There's even a point where Anthony goes out to the military and they're separated. And that's also a very interesting section of the story. I don't want to ruin it for those of you that do still want to read the book. I know a lot of you probably would just look at the book review, appreciate it for what it is, but it's going to be hard to pick up a book and actually, read through it. But for those of you that are willing to do it, I'm not going to ruin it, but there's a lot of ups and downs in the story. There's so many moments where you feel like you're the character and the book is speaking to you. And there's just a lot of good quotes in here. Just something simple like, the room was full of mourning. Like, I don't know. Another one's like, I am moved only by my lack of emotion. Just little tidbits, like, I don't know, that's the main thing that really guided me through the book. It wasn't necessarily the plot, but also the characters. You really immerse yourself with the characters. You feel like they're old acquaintances. You feel like you really get to know them, the ins and outs, even though you feel distant from them because they're distant from themselves. You know what I mean? And the fact that it can captivate that feeling, that kind of vibe, I really appreciate that, because a lot of stories will kind of go either too in depth with their character to where they're not realistic, or they go not detailed enough, so that you don't really relate to them. Here it's a kind of good mixture, and I feel like it was distant enough to where they're still mysterious characters, but you give enough information about them to kind of grow with them. And so it's a roller coaster. There's waves of misery into the darkness, as it says. And I think it's a good read. It's not going to be your upbeat fantasy novel. It's not going to be your cheesy romance novel. No, it's a very realistic story. But like I said, the writing and description of all the characters and everything is just amazing. Like this quote right here: "The deviltries of the dull and the revelries of the respectable are a matter of esoteric knowledge only to the participants themselves." And it's stuff that makes you think, thought-provoking phrases, and just how he captures scenarios and how he describes a situation. It's not so cut and dry. It's more like you really see the emotions that are in the air. You really start to see not necessarily the event itself unfold, but how the people are reacting to the events. They're not just going to a bar having a drink. You have to see why he's getting drunk. Like we see him struggle with his own addiction, and it's just very descriptive. It's very realistic. It'll make you question some of your own habits and some of your own behavior. I know it's made me think a lot, and it's just a great book. It's like the ghetto Great Gatsby. So I suggest, if you want to read it, grab a copy. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Amazon, Walmart, ebooks. Probably download it on your phone. It's, like I said, at 360 pages, it's definitely a long read, but not too long. It's manageable. You can do it in sections and really take the time to absorb the words that are in there, because there's a lot of well-written quotes, and I feel like the book can speak to you in many ways. This book and these characters, they've taught me a lot, and I feel like they can teach you a lot too if you're willing to read the book. Basically, let me read the description on the back so you have more of an understanding. The novel chronicles the relationship of Anthony Patch, a Harvard-educated aspiring writer, and his beautiful young wife Gloria. While they wait for Anthony's grandfather to die and pass his millions on to them, the young couple enjoys an endless string of parties, traveling, and extravagance.